Hey guys, welcome to a quick video for the holidays. This is basically a follow-up video to the Mini-ITX DOS gaming PC we built recently, and it is based on the comments I got from you to make some improvements, so you know who you are. Basically in this video what we're going to look at, there was an issue with the CD-ROM drive. We're going to have a look at that. Also, I'm going to show you this machine actually supports USB flash drive under DOS, which, yeah, blew my mind. And also we're going to check out a tool, it's called Throttle, which can slow down the machine. So hopefully we can get Wing Commander to run at the correct speed. And also I got a ton of comments about a Yamaha OPL3 options for PCI sound cards. So we will have a look at that. I got a few comments on fixing the optical drive, and the solution was to just remove the front face, and now it ejects properly, and when you close it, it also closes fully. And I actually struggled to remove that face at the front, so I actually had to watch a YouTube video. And basically this slides upwards, but there are little clips below, and you just got to put your thumb here and basically push it away while pushing down, and then the clip comes off, and here we go. Now this is something really cool. The BIOS of this motherboard actually picks up the Lexa USB flash drive and turns it into a USB hard drive. So if we now boot into MS-DOS, we can actually access all the files on that flash drive. Now, it needs to be formatted in FAT32, but that's pretty standard. That's not special at all. So let me just boot into DOS. So, and if we switch to D, this is the USB flash drive. So it's got everything on there. The drivers are used to play with some sound cards, the DOS benchmark and everything. So how cool is that? So do check your motherboard BIOS, or just plug in a FAT32 USB flash drive on your machine. Maybe it picks it up, and that makes data transfer actually super easy. The other tool that I got some comments on is called Throttle, and this is a slowdown tool. And it's got a ton of options, and usually it disables the level 1 cache, but we found that our machine with the level 1 cache turned off is extremely slow, and I've actually run some benchmarks now. We can actually see how slow it is. But if we run Throttle with the option -C, it won't disable level 1 cache, and it uses some other technology to slow down the processor. And the way it works, we get a menu and we can choose speed options from 0 to F, and I've done a graph. Let me just get my notes, and basically what you can see is we ran DOS Bench, the 1.0C, we ran the PC Player Benchmark, Doom, and also Quake, all in 320 by 200. And as we go from the option 0 all the way down to F, you can see that the performance, well, slows down. The machine slows down, so it does what it's meant to do. A couple of interesting things happened when I got to around C. Speed setting of C, Quake would just start to quit on its own, just randomly, but I was able to just retry it until it actually worked. But I wasn't able to complete Quake with the option F, it just wouldn't complete. And also I was using a mechanical USB keyboard, and when I got to the option E, which is the second slowest option, the USB keyboard would just stop working, but the PS2 keyboard worked just fine. Now I continued my benchmarking, so we're going to a second chart, and I changed the benchmarks. I'm using a 3D Bench 1.0, which is better for slower machines, and I'm also using Doom with low details, and it actually performs. So Doom in low details is a good benchmark. It's on the level of Wolfenstein 3D, but Wolfenstein 3D doesn't have a demo with a benchmark built in, so I couldn't put it on in the benchmark suite, so I'm just using Doom. And also some of you asked, what's the point of slowing down this machine? Well, it's to run older games that run too fast, basically. Wing Commander is a good example. So looking at this new graph, I tried to slow down the machine further. In the BIOS, I found an option to change the multiplier, and I downclocked it to 800 megahertz, but that, yeah, it changed a little bit, but we're getting 33.3 in 3D Bench. To give a comparison, a 386 DX40 gets around 14, 15, so we're still twice as fast as where we want to be to play Wing Commander. And on the far right hand side, you can see level 1 turned off. We're getting 2.2 in 3D Bench. I don't think I've ever seen such a low score. And yeah, unusable. Maybe some really old games run on it, but for what we want to do, it's not really usable. And a lot of you asked about the Yamaha OPL3 options for FM to get better FM quality, and I was sure I didn't have such a sound card, but I had a look in my PCI sound card bin basically, and I found this really, doesn't look like much, no-name generic sound card, but it's got the Yamaha YMF 744B-Y processor on it. And at first the drivers wouldn't install, it froze, but restarting the machine and installing it again, and the drivers installed just fine. We're getting OPL3 in DOS, as a DOS session, but also in pure DOS. However, no digital sound effects, which is a bummer. So it appears to me that this option might be better for the older games, but our machine unfortunately has more focus on the newer games, so there's a bit of a mismatch. However, very interesting, trying to get Wing Commander running at the correct speed. It seems that the Sound Blaster or FM emulation on the Vortex 2 requires a faster processor. So I needed a higher speed setting with throttle to make it run at a reasonable speed. Whereas with the Yamaha, I was able to use the slowest setting, and Wing Commander actually ran quite reasonable. In terms of the sound, it was more glitchy with the Vortex 2, and it sounded better on the Yamaha. So if you really have to use such a fast machine and you want to play Wing Commander, it seems a card like this Yamaha is actually a better option, whereas the Vortex 2 seems to be more geared towards more modern and faster games. So let's wrap up this video. We made a few improvements to our Mini-ITX DOS machine, and we also learned a few tips and tricks along the way. With the sound card, I would still go for the Vortex 2. I believe with the digital sound effect working and also the general MIDI wavetable support, this is a much better fit for this machine, which has a focus on the newer and more modern games. So hopefully you found this video interesting, and enjoy your holidays, and I shall see you soon with another one.